Hello viewers, thank you for joining us today. My name is Masinyandia, reporting for TBC INTV. Today I'm at Kasarani Seasons, and our topic for today is living with health condition. We're going to break barriers whereby there are things which we do not talk about, we do not understand as family members, as those living with the condition. I'm hoping that today's interview and interaction will help us learn more on how to handle, how to care, how to understand. Thank you so much. So tell me, who is Virginia Wangari? Tell our viewers.
Virginia Wangari Muhodhi is first of all your sister.
Yeah.
But I go by the name Virginia Wangari. Virginia Muhodhi, sorry. In my workplace. Personally, my family, I'm certain you'll call me Wangari. I am an administrator with a leading breakfast cereal manufacturer in the country. I am also a member of Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus Association of Kenya, which is why I know we're having this interaction today. I am a very emotionally intelligent person that is drawn from my experience of being a sick person, or rather having to live with multiple conditions. Yeah, and thank you for having me.
So, Virginia Wangari, how was it growing up?
Well, I had a relatively fair childhood. I grew up like any other child, playing. I loved climbing trees. I loved running. I used to do short races in high school up to Form 2. I never thought I would be where I am now. I live with acquired hydrocephalus, having acquired it as a teenager. And I'm also what is called patient dependent, which is a device that the doctors put in to help me manage the same.
Virginia, you've just said acquired. Is there a different type of hydrocephalus?
Yes, there are actually two types of hydrocephalus. There's acquired and there's congenital. Congenital is where the child is born with it at birth, and it's presented with a bulging head at birth. That I'm not a medic, but yes, there are two types. There's congenital, where the child is born with, and there's acquired like mine, where I was born without it, but I later developed it in life.
Oh, okay. And I believe you're with your parents when you're in hospital.
Yes, I was.
How did they take the news?
It was devastating to have your child who's normal, leading a normal life, and all of a sudden, bam, out of the blues, you're told they're sick, they have a disorder that has to be managed, not treated. I feel sometimes I wonder what our parents' thought process was, because it must be devastating to have your firstborn, diagnosed with such. So not easy.
Yeah. And I can imagine you in high school. You're this jovial child, you play, you're in sports club and all, and here you are, you've been diagnosed with hydrocephalus. How did that change your life in high school and as a youth?
One day when I was in Form 3, I woke up and I had a very bad headache. Actually, backache, sorry. It developed towards the afternoon. I remember around lunchtime when I told my friends, hey, I'm having a backache, and we really made fun out of it. Mm-hmm. But quickly, within 2-3 days, it was quite debilitating. The pain was debilitating, and I was now having a headache, And so I went to the school dispensary. I remember the doctor wrote RHF with a question mark, and I thought, God, let me not have this, because I had a classmate who had it and it was not pretty. So I was given some painkillers, and then I was referred to the district hospital. I saw the doctor who referred me to a neurosurgeon, and he told the matron at the school to make sure I go home immediately. So I was able to go home the same day, but instead of, you can imagine in 2003, someone being told to go to KNH. And there are all these stories about KNH, and the delays that patients have to go through before they get attended to. So we did not go to KNH with my parents. Instead, we saw a family doctor who examined me, and because I was just primarily complaining of a headache, nothing else, and the backache by now had stopped, I must say. I was just given painkillers, just go home, you're going to be fine. But I did not get any better. So that was the beginning of a long and painful journey for me and my family, you included. I've going to numerous hospitals, seen numerous doctors, and getting all these diagnoses that I felt were not correct, because the medication I was being given was actually not working. So eventually, Dad's friend, if you do remember, told him, peleka msichana mahali uliambiwa. Take the girl to the doctor who you were referred to in the first place. Mm-hmm. So when we went and saw this neurosurgeon at KNH, and shortly after he examined me, asked for a brain CT scan, we did it, came back and he said, yes, you have hydrocephalus. When he broke the news to me, to be honest, I think I was blank. I didn't think much about it. In fact, for me, my biggest issue was, can the pain end, But then, of course, he did mention that this is managed, not treated. And I thought, interesting, shouldn't you be treated? What do you mean manage? Because at 17, you're sick, you get treated. But here you're sick, you're being told you need to manage, So, well, I was put on a medication called Diamox to try bring down the CSF. At this time, I must say, I did not even understand what hydrocephalus was. I came to understand about it. I came to read about it later. I spoke to my doctor. Thank God I have a very supportive doctor to date, and I always tell him, God bless him, God keep him, for me and for others. So I was put on Diamox, but I did not get better within a week, and we began having a conversation around brain surgery. And so, again, brain surgery, society, no, don't do it. People go for brain surgery and become mad, others go and they die, others go and they become vegetative. And what did we do? And to run away from that conversion of surgery, we again started going round. And we went around many hospitals, and eventually I even had because I was losing my sight, I had to do an ophthalmological check, and they referred me back for neuro review. So then we went back to the neurosurgeon and said, yeah, we'll have this. So yeah, I was put on Diamox, and after 1 week and it did not work, then the doctor began having a conversation around me going to brain surgery and having a device called a VP shunt inserted. A VP shunt is basically a tubing that runs from my head to my abdomen. And there are many types of shunts, but what I have is a ventriculoperitoneal shunt, in short, a VP shunt. So I am what is referred to medically as a VP shunt dependent person.
You cannot survive without a shunt.
No, I have to have a functioning shunt in me at all times.
And having this surgery, and you're back to school, because you had to finish your high school education. How was it being in school? It's your youth, you're in your youth, and you have to really take care of yourself, take care of your health, and still enjoy what it is to be a youth.
To be honest, I do not have much memories of that period. I think that's what denial does to you. You just blank things out. You go through the emotions of life. You wake up, you eat, you sleep, you wake up, So I was not really thinking about it, but I remember in schools. So it was too many things happening at the same time. You're a teenager, you've gone to this school, you're in Form 4, and I remember the set books I had done on the other side were what they were doing. So there's some set books I lost. I remember, in fact, in Kiswahili, there's a set book I never read. I took a gamble, I said, this one, I am not reading. And I had to take on a subject like agriculture that I had dropped in Form 2. And you're still dealing with your health. So, to be honest, did I quite think about it? No. I think I was blank. But what I do remember is the school was very supportive. The principal, God bless her, she is just an amazing, amazing lady. She took me to her house to live with her when I got very sick. I would leave her house for class and then go back to her home. I would have my meals in her home. Very supportive for someone who's never seen you. God just sends angels your ways. And, my desk mate, we are friends to date. In fact, she has a barber shop. I go and I cut my hair there. There's so many people. I wish I could mention them by names, but I will not. But the school I finished my 4th form in was just simply amazing. Like I said, back to being sick, I did not quite think much about it. After 4th form, what did I do? I began drinking. I drank all the alcohol I could. I remember I would see a beer truck and it would tell me, Wangare come, and I would go. But all this was to run away from hydrocephalus. And, and I guess it got to a point in 2007 when I realized, you know what? It's not going away. It is not going away. It is part of me. I need to embrace it. That is when I realized, 2007 is when I realized it does not define me. I define it. It does not make me a victim. In fact, I call myself a hydro warrior. Yes.
So here you are, you're done with high school, college, and now you're a career woman. You want to look for your job. How was it when you went for the job search? How are the companies that you're working for when it comes to you living this condition? Because I know how it is. Maybe you have to ask for some sick off days. At times maybe you're not able to perform like you expected to perform. So how was it in the career life with the condition?
To be honest, God just works in amazing ways. I remember, but being sick, or rather getting hydrocephalus, really altered my life in more ways than one. I ended up doing a career that I never even knew existed. I do administration. I do HR admin. I find it very fulfilling because I work with people. What happened is during the time of denial is when I did a course in computer engineering, and I actually got a distinction, but I've never practiced it. After I accepted myself, I realized people are beautiful, and every time I see someone, I'm thinking, what's your story? Because when you look at me, you cannot tell I have a condition. True. I actually have more than hydrocephalus, but I'll perhaps mention towards the end. I have more than hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus did not come alone. It came with a couple of other conditions. Actually, most of them are disorders, because they're conditions I will live with until I leave this earth. So that really changed my perception about career. What I do currently is very fulfilling, and God has been amazing. I have had amazing bosses all through. The companies I work for have been very supportive. Yes, I do take time off. Sometimes I can get very sick, and I get very sick very quickly. I must admit, this time I had a boss who thought I fake being sick, which was very painful for me, because why would I pretend to be sick? Yes, people do, but personally, why would I pretend to be sick? That was a very difficult time for me. Having a senior manager think you lie, and especially because I have a very high threshold for pain. So, and once I go past it, then I dip very quickly. So many people wonder, wait, you were okay, you were smiling, now you're crying. Aren't you just looking for time off? But that luckily happened a couple of years ago. Since then, God has been faithful. He's given me very good managers and a supportive company.
Yeah. Okay. You've mentioned that you have other conditions apart from hydrocephalus. Kindly tell us more about the other conditions that you have.
All right. Hydrocephalus did not come alone. I usually say it came with the whole family. Other than hydrocephalus and me being on a shunt, in 2008, I began staggering but no pain, except a dull thudding headache, and it would get worse so long as I remained vertical. My neurosurgeon requested for a CT scan that showed a dislocated shunt. And initially, when I saw that the findings on the CT scan, I thought, I'm not going to theater. I'm not ready. But luckily, when I went to see the doctor the next day, he said, what had happened this time? You remember I mentioned that my shunt migrated when I was in Form 4. That time, it came down, right? And it had to be removed, and a new one put in on my left side in August of the same year. This time, it went up. Yeah, so what happened is when it went up, it got more deeply engorged in my brain ventricles. So it does something called overdraining. As a result of the overdraining, I have what is called slit ventricle syndrome. So that is within hydrocephalus. Away from that, because of trauma to the brain during the surgeries, I have peripheral neuropathy, which is a disorder of the nervous system on my left. So my left side is ideally weaker. I'm certain even in interactions you've seen, I don't lift much. I am a bit limited physically. I also developed trigeminal neuralgia in 2014. That's very painful on my right. In 2013, again, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a whole different thing altogether. Most recently, I also suffer very bad gastritis, because the moment you have a foreign thing put in your body is bound to fight it. And so, because to treat the flare-ups, I go on to something called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and unfortunately, they've caused me gastritis. And since I'll always be on NSAIDs I am always on NSAIDs, every so often, then I always have to do the gastritis. But luckily, right now it's under control. And then most recently, as the last 2 weeks, I was diagnosed with arthritis stage 2.
Wow. And how do you manage to still have this smile on your face and you're all vibrant, yet you still need to handle and maybe take care of your health?
Good question. That I'm asked many times. There's something I usually say: you do not know how strong you are until strong. You do not know how strong you are until strong is the only option you have. And I think I am at that point in life. Yes, I can be in a lot of pain. The pain can actually be debilitating to a point that sometimes I can't even speak, and I have to write everything down. But I have also learned to be very grateful for the small things in life. I look at life very differently. My doctor usually says I look at life from a different shade. So what perhaps someone else will take for granted, I don't. I'm so grateful to be alive. Being sick has been a blessing, as much as many people do not understand how I can say that. But being sick has been a blessing. It's made me see the beauty in people. It's brought me very close to God. I have a very personal relationship with God. We talk. Usually we talk. I say I'm his downstairs neighbor, and I'm always knocking and say, hey, But above all, when I got my children, I have two amazing girls, Eunice's. When I got my children, I told God, "You've given me kids. Give me life to see them." But it's painful. My pain points in the journey was recently this year. I was very sick, and my kids asked me, "Mama, are you going to die?" That for me is the most difficult thing I've ever had to endure. I still tear up thinking about that conversation, and seeing them always afraid, seeing them with all these questions to God, like the elder one is always asking God, out of all the mothers, you just have to choose my mom, and she asks, why do all these things have to happen to my mom, and so we constantly have a conversation around, yes, I'm sick, yes, I have all these conditions, but we still have a lot to be grateful for. So it's not easy, but the one thing that I advocate for is acceptance. I usually say two things make a difference in any diagnosis: acceptance and a good support system. I also have a very good support system that you're part of. When I'm sick, you guys let me be sick. When I'm okay, let's have the party,
Yeah. And how you've talked about your children. Mm-hmm. How or when did you realize that, yes, I need to tell them about this condition, so that at least they're able to, when they see you in pain, when they see you in a certain way, they're able to understand that mom is at this point, so you need to handle her this way. And how easy was it?
It's not easy. It's never easy telling your children that you're sick, huh? Mm-hmm. We talk about it. When Manuel, I let them know. I remember when I was changing jobs in 2013, yeah. This time I was home because I took a few days in between the two jobs. And my elder daughter asked me, she woke up and she found me home. She said, "Mommy, are you unwell?" I said, "No." "Are you going to hospital?" "No." "Then why are you home?" And that made me realize that every time I was home, I was unwell. And it was quite profound for me. But yes, we do have these conversations. We talk about it. We tell them what hydrocephalus is, what Ashanti is. Every time something else comes up, we'll always come and sit down and have a conversation. The young one is yet to fully grasp what it means, but the elder one understands, and she can actually tell I'm in pain even without me saying a word.
Virginia, having lived with the health conditions for over 17 years, what advice would you give that young woman or that young man or woman who's just been diagnosed with cancer with diabetes, because it's still a condition? Yeah. And what advice would you give us who are living with you, whether at work, whether it's your friend, on how to really understand you and love you and care for you in the right way?
Wow, good question. To anybody who's just been diagnosed, it's okay to cry. It's okay to mourn losing good health. Because the moment you're diagnosed with a terminal illness like I was, this is a journey you embark on for the rest of your life. Your life is no longer the same, let's face it, So please embrace yourself with whatever condition it is that you've been diagnosed. Ask questions. My one prayer for anybody who's recently diagnosed with anything is that you get a good doctor. Get a doctor who's receptive to questions, who will walk the journey with you, who will cry with you, who will, encourage you, motivate you. That doctor really needs to become more than a doctor. He needs or she needs to become your friend, because they are going to be your sounding board. You'll always run to them, So accept yourself. It's okay. It's okay to be in denial. It's okay to be in denial. It's okay to cry. It's okay to long for the life before, but you also need to realize that, hey, this is the new life. And, the sooner you accept it, the better. But it is okay to go through all those emotions, And to those, the family, the friends, especially personally for me, what I suffer from most is because I'm a very strong person, as you can attest. Every time I'm feeling like I need to cry, people don't let me cry. They're like, "No, you've been through us. When I need to cry, please let me cry. When I have fears, please listen to me. Don't brush me off. Let me tell you what it is that I'm afraid of. Walk with me the journey. Choose the right words to say. Be very careful about the words you say." The other day I had a fallout with my friend because when I got the arthritis diagnosis, I felt he could have handled it better. And he says, "Oh, you've been through us." And I thought, hey, you don't say that. So treat us as you'd want to be treated. Don't segregate us. Personally, for me, usually say I can be very unreliable. I can be very dependable and very undependable, because it depends. When I cancel that date on the last hour, don't get upset. Please know I really, really intended to come, but my health has said no. The other thing you can do is support us with diet. Many times we have special diets, so don't force me to take that sugar if I shouldn't. Encourage me. If you're part of my immediate family, maybe perhaps you can help adopt the diet that I'm supposed to be on. That will help me more than have my meals made separately. go with me to the doctor's appointments, ask questions, just walk the journey with me. Just walk the journey with me. And above all, be guided by do to me as you want done to you.
Okay, thank you so much. We've had the discussion, and I hope it will help you as my viewer to really understand what it means to live with the condition and what it means to be the caregiver, the friend. I remember when she was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, I was in primary school and I shaved my hair. Her, she's maintained the shaved hair. But I remember we all shaved, and my father was like, why are we all like, why do we all have short hair? But you see, I felt at that point that it was good for me to really show that support. It is a better way of communicating. Understand them. There's a time she was coming home and she was all jovial and happy. There's a time she just wants to lock herself in the bedroom. And at times we could not understand. We are here for you, and we do not understand. But when you're able to communicate, I get her, she gets me, and we're able to really have a more healthy relationship. Thank you so much. Kindly share, subscribe, and follow. And I would like you to give suggestions on topics you'd like us to discuss, and I'm willing to bring it to our show.